Republicans aren't being honest when they tell you they're trying to negotiate in good faith on the nation's debt ceiling. First, this shouldn't be a negotiation. It's paying our bills we've already spent. We've lifted the debt ceiling over 80 times before, including 3 times during President Trump's tenure, because you have to pay your bills. And second, the legislation they passed as an alleged negotiation shows how drastic they would like to cut spending, but can't because they can't even put specifics on paper like the president and the Democrats have. They'd love to cut programs drastically, but the cuts would hurt so many Americans they can't actually do it. That's why they haven't released a budget. Look, I serve on the Appropriations Committee. Let me explain what the Republicans want to do. They passed a bill to cut spending to fiscal year 2022 levels. That sounds innocuous enough, but here's what it actually means: deep cuts. We have discretionary and non-discretionary spending. We can't cut non-discretionary spending like Social Security and Medicare because, well, it's your money that we hold on to as a public trust. So by law, we can't cut non-discretionary spending. That only leaves discretionary funds that can be changed. Now, discretionary funds are eligible for cuts or increases, but the GOP majority further limits that by saying they won't cut Pentagon spending. That amounts to over half of discretionary funds. That leaves a much smaller portion of the total budget to absorb all the cuts they propose, adding up to a 22% cut of all remaining funds. 22% of the funds that help veterans, 22% of the funds to protect the border, and funds for Meals on Wheels programs, and funds for railroad safety inspections, education, housing, health care, all cut. Think about those levels of cuts and what that effect would have on you and your family. They talk a tough game on the border, but if they cut 22% of the funding going to protect the border, cutting Border Patrol and custom officers could increase the flow of people into the country and cut back on searches for fentanyl and other drugs at our points of entry. They say they want to back the blue and support our police, but 22% cuts to federal law enforcement and grants to local police departments are hardly the support they need. They say they support our veterans, but cut veterans' food assistance programs and housing choice vouchers, hurting tens of thousands of veterans who bravely served. Even the PACT Act that finally made it through Congress to help veterans exposed to toxic chemicals wouldn't get the funding needed to help those who served our nation. But it keeps going. These cuts would affect 180,000 fewer children would have access to child care. 10,800 fewer OSHA inspections of plants would expose workers to unsafe conditions. Drug treatment courts would lose funding and 29,000 fewer people would be able to get treatment for opioid addiction. There's a reason why they can't put out a full budget.
Good morning, friends. Happy Saturday to all of you. The Biden administration is finally taking action. Billions of dollars from President Biden's American Rescue Plan Act is being put towards helping millions of Americans. Under this new plan, many more people will be able to receive financial assistance. States are also approving bills that will help shore up rent and utility assistance programs. Many states and cities are also approving bills that will help shore up rent and utility assistance programs. My friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video to hear about all of the new details. Also, do stay tuned because I'll be announcing the 2 winners from yesterday's Walmart gift card giveaway. But if you'd like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances, friends, of winning the giveaways. 5 major U.S. cities and the state of California will receive federal help to get unsheltered residents into permanent housing. This is under a new plan that was just launched. This is also part of the Biden administration's larger goal to reduce homelessness 25% by the year 2025. The All Inside initiative will partner the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness and its 19 federal member agencies with state officials in California and local governments in the cities of Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, and the Phoenix metro area. According to President Biden's domestic policy advisor, Susan Rice, The goal is for the federal government to provide knowledge and resources to population centers where nearly half of the nation's unhoused residents reside. She stated that the administration will offer tailored support for 2 years to improve efforts towards housing unsheltered people in participating communities, including embedding a federal official in each area. In addition, teams will be deployed to help the communities obtain federal funding, establish a network of resources, and to identify areas where regulations can be loosened and the process for securing housing can be sped up. According to White House officials, more than 580,000 Americans were homeless in 2022, with 4 out of 10 of them unsheltered and sleeping on sidewalks or in tents, and even cars. Agencies including the Department of Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, Social Security Agency, and the Department of Labor will be involved to help coordinate housing opportunities. The White House said the program will build on the $2.5 billion already allocated to prevent homelessness under the administration's American Rescue Plan, and another $486 million in the Department of Housing and Urban Development funding released to local municipalities earlier this year. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell said, "The White House plan will unite systems, bringing solutions that are affected in some cities to other areas." The Seattle area had the nation's 3rd highest population of homeless residents in 2022, after Los Angeles and New York City at more than 13,300. Seattle, King County, and nearby cities joined together to launch a regional homeless authority 2 years ago. But many officials say the agency has underperformed and had trouble fulfilling administrative duties, such as executing contracts with service providers. Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs, a former social worker, has also successfully pushed for $150 million to be included in Arizona's Housing Trust Fund in the state's budget to shore up rent and utility assistance programs, eviction prevention, and build new shelters and affordable housing. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts about all of this? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. In its first vote on the 2024 budget, the D.C. Council restored millions of dollars in funding to various housing programs. That includes the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which helps people in emergency situations cover rent or other housing needs. Under Mayor Muriel Bowser's proposed budget, funding for the program would have been cut by more than 80%, dropping the funding level to about $8 million. The council voted to restore funding to $43 million. $43 million puts the program at the same funding level it was for fiscal year 2022. And in that budget, funding for the program dried up in about 6 months. The Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs also announced recently that they are accepting applications again for their Texas Rent Relief Program. The program reopened its application process for Texas residents seeking help to pay rent and utility bills. $96 million is available. The application portal had such a high volume of applications that it crashed. Some users were unable to start a new application and were experiencing delayed load times. The demand has led to lawmakers to consider approving even more funding. Well, my beautiful and most dearest friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Saturday. Thank you, friends, for being part of this community and for being here every single day. The 2 winners of yesterday's Walmart gift card giveaway is Patty Longley and Martha Edmonds. Congratulations, my dear friends. To claim your gift cards, please check your notifications page and send me a message, or you could message me on my Facebook page. Thank you all, friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed weekend.